Hi everyone, here's a little bonus video for you guys for the part 1 of Meeting the Fairies course. Hopefully you've been going out to your nature spots a couple times. Hopefully you've been feeling the spots where energy feels a little bit more intense, a little bit concentrated, and you've been spending some time there. And what this video is about is to teach you, or to help guide you, let's say, in learning to see into the other dimensions. There's a big misunderstanding about what it is to be multidimensional, and that's a belief that if something occurs in another place, that means it can't occur here. The truth is, it's multidimensional, not that one instead of this one. So there's specific ways you can see into the fairy realm, and I'll show you one. So this is a great big guardian tree on the way to my fairy spot. I call him Granddaddy Oak. And this is him. Can you see his face? See if I can get it really good. This is the way that I see it. I see an eye, his nose with his two cute nostrils, and then his mouth underneath smiling. He's got a little bit of beard, he's got a little bit of hair. And every time I come to this nature spot, I stop and say hello to him. And then we're used to judging things like people's expressions by their faces moving. But in this case, because he's a tree, his bark is not going to start to move. Doesn't mean he's not alive. Doesn't mean he's not conscious. Doesn't mean he's not communicating. So the way you communicate with beings like this is then you notice where your eye is drawn. So say if I ask a question, for instance, and I swear when I gaze into that eye right there, this eye right there, I feel it looking back at me in a way that I feel people's eyes looking back at me. So I'll notice, for instance, just the other day I said, hello, I'm coming down to the fairy spot to go record. That was when I did the intro video for you guys. And I asked him, is it okay if I go on down? And then that eye felt like it was looking at me. And then something about the focus of my eyes changed. So it looked like he was looking down to the spot, like he was like, go ahead. So that's one way. See, check him out. What does it feel like to you? And there are also other faces. So that one I feel like is blowing me a kiss. You see the kiss mouth? And up above there, a couple more on this very same tree. I can't help but think how glorious this tree will be in summer when all of these branches are full of oak leaves. So yeah, that's Granddaddy Oak. Another way you can see through is to look at things like spider webs. If you're looking at a spider web and it's catching the sun, you know how sometimes you can see it and sometimes you can't. It depends on where you are, where the angle of the sun is. Get him in the background here while I'm talking to you guys, where the lighting is. And so there's also the way that you can look at leaves and or a tree or anything in nature that's got a lot of variation, and it's almost like certain patterns will emerge to you as if you were looking at those magic eye posters from the 80s and 90s where you would defocus your eyes and then focus on the defocus and something else would come out. You can also do that with patterns in water, patterns in clouds, patterns in fire, patterns in rocks, any types of patterns that you can do this with. And so, for instance, there is an elemental being down here that if the sun's just right, I'm going to see if I can talk to her today. If the sun's just right and I get right on the edge of the water and I look to where the sun is shining on the water and there's a spot of sun on the water directly in front of me, and if I defocus my eyes a little bit, and guys, this is totally sober, by the way. There's a question that a lot of people have in my work, like, where do you on? And the truth is, yes, if you do use certain medicines like magic mushrooms, ayahuasca, other such things, they do open up so you can see, and LSD is another one that you can see very easily in. But you don't need substances or drugs to help you do this. This is a natural thing. Most of us just usually block it out so that those substances help slam open the doors so you can get through. But you don't need them. It is similar to what you see on them, though. So if you've ever tried those types of things and you're thinking, oh, I was seeing that, but I thought it was just the drug. It wasn't just the drug. The drug was just taking down some of your resistance. So you were seeing what was potentially there. Also, imagination can happen. So it's like any area of study. You're not always 100% right. You have to experiment and see. So anyways, when the sun is shining on the water in a certain way, the way that the sun is reflected on the water, if I defocus my eyes and start interacting by speaking in my mind, there is a being there that looks like a still upper body and a moving lower body like a mermaid or a genie. And it's being made of light, because she's made of, in my experience, she's made of the sun on the water. In her experience, is she made on the sun on the water? No, she's a being that lives here in this area, that makes herself visible to me so we can communicate. So I invite you to go to your nature spot and start to look for who you see. Another experience that I had once was lying under a tree. It was a deciduous tree. I don't remember what kind, but the light was shining very brightly on the leaves, and I felt a fairy presence above me. And so I defocused my eyes and relaxed. And then I realized that there were hundreds of leaves reflecting the light above me, and each and every one of those drops of just pure sunlight, pure white yellow light, was shaped like a little being with wings. And I just sat staring at it for long moments, and I freaked myself out so much that I had to stop looking a couple times, because it was battling my brain. My brain said, there's no way. And my eyes kept saying, yes, it's right here. So invite them to show themselves to you. If you've been introducing yourself, and if you've been humble and you've been open, maybe leaving little gifts or just gifts of your heart energy, then they'll be wanting to talk to you. They will show themselves to you, like Grandfather Oak here. Okay, send you guys so much love. I hope you're enjoying part 1. Bye.